That's the American Gladiators video game vaults. Let's see what happens here. Oh, good intro. Here's a big super fan question. How many video game vault intros were there? Because there were multiple video game vault intros. And I don't know if people notice these things, but the games changed on them over the years. There were some that had different games. You know, I think we had several things. But I loved our video game vault intro. The video game vault intro was amazing.
As popular as American Gladiators has become its second time around, I don't understand why everyone doesn't just go out and buy the old school NES adaptation.
Okay, first off, you got to remember that this was probably, 15 years ago? There's been enough time between that reboot and the original American Gladiators to bring back another reboot of American Gladiators, which probably will be happening sooner than later.
Why? Because it's better than the TV version, that's why. Let's just take a look at the human Cannonball event to start. You've got platforms moving up and down, dudes flying at each other, and when somebody makes contact, screams of pain.
That's great.
And when you get to the later levels, it gets even more insane. Holy crap, you can't tell me this wouldn't be awesome on TV. Hell, the new versions of Gladiators doesn't even have this event. Another great example, look at the Joust. Everybody's seen this thing. In the TV show, you beat the hell out of each other with these giant sticks, and that's it. But in the game, you beat up the gladiator, listen to him fall to his death, and then you go on to beat up 2 more roid-raging beefcakes. But only after you jump from platform to platform. And don't get me started on how rad it would be to be thrown a weapon as you're going to the last gladiator that has 50,000 volts of electricity just running through it to take out whoever touches with one touch. Again, perfect for TV.
So much there. So much there. You know, things not mentioned. The idea that you flew from the sky and landed on the podium. Excellent. Like top tier. Would make great for great TV. Second, the use of rad in the video game vault. That was definitely a Craigism right there. I don't use the word rad enough these days. And rad is retro enough to where it'll be coming back again soon. Possibly, maybe. Mostly by old guys like me.
Now the wall sucks because nobody likes tapping A and B back and forth to move. And in Powerball, you're welcomed by Gold, who gives you some great advice. Or is coming on to you.
Give it up for Gold. Give it up for Gold right here. Let's go.
I think. But that's made up for when you make it to the signature AG
Oh, this is totally ripped. We did not play this. You can tell by the footage.
event, the Eliminator. While the TV show is pretty cool, they should really take some tips from the NES. The entire time you're dodging orange balls flying at you, jumping from platform to platform, running up and down treadmills, and skipping from zip line to zip line. Who wouldn't want to see something like that in real life? Come on, that's awesome! Look, if you think the ratings were good last season, with a few subtle adjustments made to coordinate with the old school NES version and a little help from good old Stuttering Craig, American Gladiators would be the most watched show on TV.
Once again, 2 minutes long. Could absolutely post on Twitter right now. Yeah. So there's so much that I would have if I was to redo vaults. Like I would totally talk about how that's a game that I played at my cousin John's house, and it was one of those games that was so bad, but so hard that it was bad, and so bad that it was hard. That it's just one of those things where you didn't realize it as a kid that the game was so bad. It was just, well, this is just one of those games, American Gladiator is definitely one of those games for sure. This is legitimately one of my favorite vaults ever done. This was after I left. I was on vacation for a week, and I gave duties for video game vaults to be done by Brian, Chad, and Jared. And people hated them. They hated them. Even though I was like, hey, just tell them that I'm on vacation and I'll be back, right? And they got destroyed in comparison on game trailers. So the natural response was this, the video game vault for Bob. I love how this starts.
Hey guys, what game are we going to play today? Today we're doing Bob for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yes, Jared, let me tell you about it.
No!
Hey, it's Brian's fault!
What? Brian!
Just take that. Oh, sweet Bob!
Okay. So much there. Oh, I can watch that. Like when you hear "What, Brian?" That was a reoccurring theme for years at ScrewAttack. What, Brian? And I think I will absolutely one day just make that my ringtone. Just what, Brian?
Hey guys, what game are we going to play today?
By the way, Chad does an excellent job. You can see his future as an actor here, looking at his lines. He really sells the great delivery.
Today we're doing Bob for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yes, Jared, let me tell you about it.
No!
Hey, it's Brian's fault!
What? Brian!
Just take that.
I planted on him.
Oh, sweet Bob! Alright, so most of you know I just got married, but
And then, so I got married. That's what it was. And then the video game vault just starts like nothing ever
I
happened.
also can tell you what it's like to go on a first date. And man, can it be nerve-wracking, especially when you're only 16 years old. You got some pretty young thing waiting on you, you just got your license, and your dad gave you the keys to this perfectly restored car. The only thing you're worried about is meeting the girl's father, not scratching the car, and let's be honest, hooking up and getting some.
You know what the best thing about this is? Brian wrote this vault. I'm positive Brian wrote this vault. I'm positive he did.
Anyways, but then you wreck the car, end up on an alien planet, stand the girl up, and you gotta fight your way out with a new Radmobile before your lady friend is hooking up with some other dude. And that is the story of Bob. Just without the whole lady friend hooking up with some other dude thing. So by looking at this guy, you'd probably think Bob's kind of a weenie, but this kid's got some serious toys to play with. Bob's packing a flamethrower, a spreader, and a rocket launcher, just to name a few. And that's not the only place Bob's packing some extra power either. Oh no, you're out of ammo. Bust him in the face.
In the face.
In the face.
that was obviously a recurring theme as well. Oh my God, that's awesome. That's so good. Brian had a very formulaic way of writing vaults as well. He obviously talked about a lot of the weaponry, and he always tried to give a little bit of story. But Brian was a great vault writer.
When something's out of reach, Bob just uses his head to solve the problem. Go, go, robot umbrella. Alright, so you remember how Bob got in an accident which got him into this whole mess to begin with? Well, aside from busting some alien ass with guns, ironically enough, Bob gets a chance to get behind the wheel on some levels. Now, why he doesn't just drive off the planet is beyond me, but what happens when Bob actually gets behind the wheel? Freaking pinball! Like most old school games, you're gonna go through some serious growing pains by getting your ass kicked until you memorize the levels. Now the sad part is that if Bob was reviewed today as a new game, a lot of gaming websites would say, it's too difficult or it's unforgiving. You know what? Good! I like the fact that you get a password every 3 levels, and there's not a save point every 30 seconds. Alright, so let's...
I'll say this. I'm a big giant weenie, and I've been pussified by growing up and getting old because I don't know how I like that today. But mid to late 20s, Craig, was raw and uncut. Now I'm just a soft old man who likes passwords and save states. Ugh.
Let's wrap up Bob. Is Bob a great 16-bit game? You bet your ass. Imagine Contra with ammo, crossed a little bit of Mega Man, except this robot's got some crazy dance moves. Now, should Bob get a remake today? Shit, no.
There you go.
Developers would F this game up so bad, and this game needs to be remembered for what it was, and not some crappy, run-of-the-mill, overthought, and underdelivered FPS. Bob's great just the way he is. A horny little robot with a lot of guns looking for some poon.
Out on a high note. Out on a high note right there. Top 10 video game themes ever would be my pick if I have it. Let me see. Let me see if I have it. You know, the reason why I've never actually done that one, done a reaction to it, which this actually may turn into a reaction to it, is because it originally was flagged because it all built around music. It was flagged on YouTube, but you're in luck. This is legitimately the first time I have looked at this video since it was released. I remember this video did exceptionally well on game trailers. This was a multi-million view video, and it ends with "You're the best around," from The Karate Kid, which originally was written for Rocky. And I remember posting on YouTube and getting flagged for copyright. I've probably watched it since then, I guess. But at the same time, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. This was fun. Okay, this is the top 10 video game themes ever. I don't know if this is going to make it on YouTube, but if it does, we'll see. This has a lot of copyrighted themes, but this is one of the most popular ScrewAttack top 10s we ever did. And you'll see why. This was actually voted on by our audience. And this had ridiculous support. And this is a lot of memories for me. I know what number one is right now. It's a great one. But let's just sit back and enjoy it, and I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go along. I know there's definitely going to be some nostalgia driven here, as you're going to see the old ScrewAttack site and what the internet looked like in 2008 or 9. So we'll see, or maybe 10. We'll see how it goes.
Music is one of the most powerful mediums in the world, and ever since video games became mainstream, it has played a huge role in not just shaping gaming, but the gamers who play the games.
Every single one of those games that we just showed, NES games, all with phenomenal music.
We asked you to give us your nominees for your favorite video game theme, and you delivered with over 15,000 suggestions.
That's not votes. 15,000 suggestions in our comments. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And look at this. Look at these. Remember what a forum was? Remember forums? Our forums were that's like where the hardcore went on ScrewAttack, was our forums.
Needless to say, narrowing it down to only 10 was no small chore, and sometimes it felt like we were trying to
Ooh, arcade game KI, that was ripped.
narrow down which child we liked more. It sucked. Keep in mind, as with all our lists, we're only using one entry per franchise.
Ooh.
Okay, Sephiroth at number 1!
Yes, blood was spilled during the selection process.
Can we just stop for a second and look at Chad? Chad and his short little hair.
That's the thing about music. There is no right or wrong list. I mean, your list is going to be different than pretty much everybody else's in the entire world. So don't be a bitch.
Every
Can we can like this line as a whole, right? This needs to be the attitude. This needs to be the attitude for the entire internet here. Just this right here.
Your list is going to be different than pretty much everybody else's in the entire world.
Okay, replace list with your opinion, right? And then finish it with this.
So don't be a bitch.
So don't be a bitch. Like, can we just, that should be the mantra of the internet, for sure.
Every single one of these songs, whether they're considered old school or new school, all have one thing in common. They are classics. While we could talk throughout the entire list about how great each entry is, we'll just let the music do most of the talking. Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig for ScrewAttack's Top 10 Video Game Themes Ever.
I think this is the right way to go, as far as just letting the music speak for itself. You know, paint a little picture, but for the most part, just let it play. And people will get it. If they're truly classics, people will understand.
Number 10.
Hey, it's no
Then we don't even start with the theme.
secret. Compared to the Super Nintendo, the Genesis wasn't exactly a killer in the sound department. It was few and far between where soundtracks really caught your ear, but for a real classic, you didn't have to look any further than the Sega mascot.
Clearly emulated at this point. We had an Xbox that had all the games. This is how you could tell the video games were, this game in particular was emulated, was Sonic was in front of Sonic the Hedgehog banner here. Do you know that? Bet you didn't know that, but now you do. This would not make my top 10 today.
The Green Hill Zone theme will be carved in Sega fanboys' ears forever.
More or less just a montage. Just a little montage of it. And, you know, I felt fun watching that. That was good. Now, I don't think that would be on a list today. There's so much good music that has come out since this list was remade. And this would be a really fascinating list to remake over the years. But once again, we didn't make this list. You made this list.
9.
One of the toughest
Let's go,
decisions we had to
DKC.
make was narrowing down just one of the great themes from the Donkey Kong Country series. Oil Drum Alley, Sticker Brush Symphony, Aquatic Ambience, just freaking great. But when it came down to it, is there really anything better than a boss battle with a giant lizard with a cape and a crown?
People today would be upset about this one, but I don't care. Once again, you guys made this list, not us. But I think people would say, "Oh, Sticker Brush Symphony needs to be on this," but no, this for right here, this was absolutely the right time and the right pick. So good, so good. We edited it. Damn.
It started off all light and fluffy and then gets all dark and eerie to totally set the mood for the final showdown.
That's great. Oh, fakey fake.
Number 8.
And that's it. I think we get into Secret of Mana at this point. And this is where things go where you're like, man, you don't even have to play the game to know when good music is hit. You know? Good music is good music.
When someone mentions Final Fantasy, there's generally two things that come to mind. Music and just ridiculous hair. It's crazy. While the series is littered with beautiful scores, the franchise rule is in effect unless it came down to the song you hear every time you play a Final Fantasy game.
If I was to redo this today with my own personal preference, I actually think that I don't even know what it's called. That to me is like the best Final Fantasy song. Like that's whenever I think of that, I just think people just like walking and in the snow, just going and beat some ass. Like I love that. But I totally understand this.
Number 7.
One of the best RPGs ever, Secret of Mana's title music. Man, just gorgeous.
Even today, man, you hear that first dun, bum, bum. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And then it gets into the crescendo here. Golly.
Think about it. Next to the programmer, the first person you see on the title screen is the composer. That's just studly.
That's actually like a phenomenal point that I feel like most people would miss, Director, then music, and there it is.
Number 6.
G1 Side Smash summed it up best when he described the moon theme from DuckTales on the NES. This tune stands out in my mind as the theme of the 8-bit era. When you listen, you hear a small tune like the leftovers of the video game Crash of '83. It gains momentum with more tunes, and it explodes, just like the NES's popularity in '89.
Let's just take a step back really fast. Look at the date on this. September 30th, 2008. 15 years ago. A decade and a half ago. Oh my God.
89.
Oh, God. Awesome.
Couldn't have said it better ourselves.
So we didn't. The new remake, the DuckTales remastered, well, I guess the new, 10 years ago, the remastered version of that, oh my God. Just everything about that. And then obviously Brennan Floss made his own crazy duck in space. Let's keep going.
5.
See, we don't even need to play anymore of it because you already know what it is. Level 1-1 is almost on a plane of its own because literally everybody knows it. Do I really need to say anything? Of course not. It's freaking Super Mario Brothers. Just watch this montage.
Amazing. I mean, clearly one of the most iconic songs in the world. And like, in the world, period. Not just video games. Everybody knows Mario. Everybody does.
4.
Ooh.
The original Metroid theme was great, but when this hit... Oh man. Bodies scattered across the floor, a Metroid is missing, and you have no idea what the hell's going on. The best Super Nintendo game there is, Super Metroid's theme sends chills down our spine every time we hear it.
Listen to it. You got headphones on? Listen to just the bass and just the that you hit. Oh. So spacey. Just, God, it's awesome. God, that's so good. Creepy, stellar. They should just play that in all space movies and everyone would be happy.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I am all out of gum.
This is definitely a product of 2008 right here. The Duke Nukem theme would not even come close. Most people today wouldn't even know what the Duke Nukem theme is. But it's fun to look at. Fun to do this.
This is the ultimate kick you in the teeth, show me your booze while I blow up this alien scum anthem.
Be respectful about asking to see the boobs. Just make sure you do that. It's assault otherwise.
Remade so many times we can't even count, it's become a staple for anyone who owns an electric guitar and plays games.
Still is a great tune though. Little tinny, but you know, whatever. It's pretty good.
The Mega Man series was another one that we just had such a hard time with. You guys suggested so many themes, we could hardly count them.
Magnet Man theme is one of my personal favorites, but I know where this is going, and I don't disagree. This is pretty good. I don't know if this is a top 10er. I don't know if it's a top 2er, but it's definitely a top 10er.
But really, is there anything better than Dr. Wily heading down to a sweet castle only to be greeted by 8-bit music at its absolute best?
Let's go. So good.
Dr. Wily is going down for the second time of 9.
Now 11. Now 11.
Number 1.
All right, we know what this one's going to be for sure. For sure. This is clear number 1. Well, or do you? Were you around 15 years ago to see this initially? Because I remember exactly what this is.
No matter if it's 8-bit, 16-bit, 64, or next-gen, the Legend of Zelda theme exemplifies classic.
Listen to this transition here. Listen.
The only
God.
theme that everyone can agree on, we consider this the legendary Koji Kondo's best piece of work. No matter if you're a Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft freak, this is a theme that bonds all gamers together.
I will say this. This entry and that transition from the NES to the Super Nintendo version of that actually spawned a series that I wanted to do, but it was right when YouTube copyright was starting to take shape. I wanted to do a series called Through the Years that started themes that had been established in the early years and slowly adapted and brought into an orchestral stage to where they had gone through 8-bit to 16 to 32 onto orchestra, and just have them play from version to version. And I think I did one for the fairy theme for Legend of Zelda. If my memory serves me right, I don't think I have it, and I don't think it ever saw the light of day. But that transition alone spawned that idea. Oh, God. Awesome. Okay, so that was only 7.5 minutes long, but yeah. So then we go through and we list every single person. Now I can't play it because it has the "You're the Best Around" underneath it with some sweet tunes. So I'm gonna just let it play because hey, they still get credit. I think that's great. Man, that was awesome to watch. Really, really fun to go back and a really great pick right there. Wicked Awful Gamer. Really, really fun. If you guys did enjoy that and you'd like to watch more videos with me and kind of go back to the past, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button over here and join us over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/StutteringCraig. You know Twitch. Twitch.tv/StutteringCraig. That'd be great. That was really fun to watch. I hope this makes it on YouTube. Give it a thumbs up and let me know your top 10 theme down below, or at least one of that would fit in the top 10. Your best theme ever. That'd be great. I would love to see it. But isn't it amazing? Look at all these people, all these amazing people, like Limp Duck. This was just a copy and paste and then formatting right here. So fun to see all these things. The amount of people that contributed to this. Amazing stuff. Amazing. So, anyways, super fun to watch. And I feel like we should watch another 2 minutes of this, but we're not.